So much better in my life. For the very down, 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 talk to me. Talk to you. Talk to me. All right, if I get in trouble with YouTube, good evening. Every week, I love you want to jam. I'm a DJ trapped in the body of a professor. I know, right? What you gonna do? Well, we're back on the couch. We got a studio audience tonight that is off the chain. That's all I'm going to say. But good evening, everybody. It's Friday night on the couch with Dr. Kim. And as you see, I am not flying solo tonight. I got Purdy company. Pretty smart company. Girl, if you from the Shy, you know that all the pretty and the smart girls come from where? Whitney Young Magnet High School, 211 South Laughlin, Chicago, Illinois, 60607. And if you didn't know, now you know. So tonight we're going to keep it spicy. If your marriage is going cold, you and your boo not booed up anymore, I got a remedy right here to my left. Dr. Heather Ferguson Tillman. Say hello to the people, Doc Sexy. I see somebody in the chat for you, Dr. Vicky Lee.
Okay.
Dr.
Good evening, Dr. Vicky Lee.
We got
Yes,
Rocky.
good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for having me, Dr. Kim.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this for a while.
We have.
I'm glad we're finally making it happen. And so this topic kind of has come up, as I choose my topics all the time. It's based on my DMs. It's based on what I'm seeing on social media, the different platforms for Facebook, Instagram, just now getting into TikTok. You got Kendra Roseboro. Does that name sound familiar?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all the people.
Good evening, Kendra. Good evening.
I love it. And so this is one that keeps coming up because this is really since the pandemic, and I know you're going to talk a lot about it after you tell people about you and what you do. But this one has come up a lot lately in that I'm hearing people that are just comfortable with dry marriages. Folks just walking around here in dry marriages. And I was just like, oh my God, that's the norm. This is what we're doing. Is this what we're doing? And so I'm like, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it tonight. And I was like, who better than my beloved Doc Sexy? These are our nicknames for each other. I'm Doc Slim and she's Doc Sexy. So
yes,
I thought I'd bring on. So talk a little bit, tell the people a little bit about yourself other than your fan club in the chat.
Well, first of all, I've had the honor and the privilege of knowing Dr. Kim since high school, which was only about maybe 10 years ago or so, roughly. I'm thinking roughly 10. And in that time frame, she has served as a mentor for me. And the reason why I'm prefacing this is because she was instrumental in ensuring that I finished with my PhD. I called her like in a panic. I don't think I can do this. It's too much. A 300-page dissertation. What's that going to look like? So I just really value what she means to me in my life. And with that being said, I am a psychotherapist in a
Mhm.
private practice, which I love. Am I allowed to say the name?
Yes, you are. You can say it now and at the end. Go ahead.
Okay, so it is Phoenix Rising Counseling and Guidance. And I've been there for a little under 4 years. And it's just an amazing way for me to continue in my helping journey. I started out, of course, as a social worker where I spent numerous years, and I felt that I could be more helpful in reuniting families if I approached it from a trauma lens. So I'm exclusively a therapist, and I offer unsolicited advice at times.
There it is. There it
Yes.
is. So that's wonderful. And I love that, like I said, our paths even have intersected, overlapped in that
Yeah.
my group on Facebook started that way as well as this podcast, particularly for the demographic of women who don't want to talk about some of the things we're talking about tonight because they good
Right.
girls. So especially the church girls. And then the rest of it is shame, right? A lot of times
Yeah.
when you hit on topics of intimacy and that kind of thing, there's this shame involved, right? And so that's where I'm at. I was like, the more we talk about things, the more we can get a handle on things in our life and experience the fullness of life that I think all of us are have a right to. So that's what
Right.
brings us here. So she's certifiable. So I'm a doctor of education, but she's a doctor of the heart and the mind, and we're gonna put it all together
Yes.
and make it
Yes, we
do what
are.
it do and make it do what it do. So let's get into it. Let's get it. Why do one I want to start with this before we get into how to keep it spicy. Talk a little bit about what breaks the marriages down in the first place. What breaks the
Oh,
marriages down? Why do so many marriages go cold? And I'm telling you, it's really blowing my mind. Don't believe everything you see on, oh Jesus, on Facebook. Please don't believe everything you see on Facebook. All right. There's some folks that are out here that would like you to believe that everything is everything and living a whole different life at home. And then there's folks like the doc here, and I meant to give my tribute to her in that. Hold on, my studio audience is out of control. Um, I got a heckler. I got a heckler. I know. So listen. Um, yes. Oh, Dr. Vicky Lee is a doctor of education too. Okay, professor, I see you. So
yes.
um, I wanted to give the tribute to you. Not only thank you for those kind words, but to say how you've inspired me to hold on and wait for something real. I've watched you and your husband since the first date, first meeting, the engagement, and the whole deal. And to see a friendship set on fire, and you're gonna come back and pick that up later. But to see that friendship on fire is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's worth waiting for. So that's how you've inspired me on a personal level as well as professional. So I want you to talk a little bit as I settle down the studio audience and talk a little bit about why so many marriages go cold. And then I'm gonna pop back in as the studio
Sure.
audience is under control.
Sure. So, one of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming why a marriage goes cold. Because when you think about the trajectory of what happens when a marriage goes cold, it may lead to separation or it may lead to divorce. But the biggest reason why most people have problems in their marriage is not infidelity, it's finances. And
Ah,
so
such a divorce. Yep.
absolutely. So it takes me back to a song that came out in the 70s. You gotta have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. No romance without finance. Okay, that right there tells you why I'm a psychologist and not a singer. But I know that you have to always create an environment of a partnership, of a friendship. You have to have respect for your partner, for your husband, for your wife, because that lovey-dovey, like butterfly feeling that you had, like your first kiss, that may be diminished over time. It may not have the same level of impact because what you're trying to do now is continue to connect on a level of love, of respect, because let's face it, sometimes what attracted us maybe physically, you may get a little fluffy. It just so happens that my husband loves me fluffy. So I haven't had a problem in that area. But the things that you do when you initially meet someone, if you were going to the gym, if you were eating healthy, if you were spending a lot of self-care time where you maybe did facials for men too on Sundays, do something to enhance your overall well-being, you have to continue doing that. You have to continue because it's never about you're doing these things to please the person or to keep them. You're doing it because it makes you feel good. And that in itself makes you approach that loving feeling in a different way. So one of the things that I think about is the concept of friendship before fireworks. The sexiest marriages are often built on the strongest friendships. Couples who laugh together, talk together, and generally enjoy one another tend to maintain intimacy longer than couples who only focus on physical attraction. Now, of course, you're human. So when someone catches your eye, you're going to say, hey, that person is kind of cute. But beyond that initial impact of the way they look to you, then you start kind of maybe looking at how they're dressed, um, listening to the cadence of their voice, listening to what type of words they use, then delving into other aspects. What do they do for a living? What schools did they go to? So on that surface level is where the connection begins. But then as you start to probe deeply and get to know the person that you present in the beginning shouldn't be your representative. It should not be someone that you're pretending to be. It should be someone that you can maintain for longevity. Now, listen, we have some people who aren't their authentic self, but they're the same person that their mate encountered on the first date, on the first encounter. So please understand that whatever you decide to do as you approach getting into a loving and romantic relationship, always maintain yourself. Always maintain yourself because desire begins outside of the bedroom. You may have saw somebody at the grocery store. You may have ran into them at church or somewhere else. You never know. But it starts outside the bedroom. And
Yeah.
you you may tell your mate to help with the dishes, fold the laundry, be emotionally available, say thank you, flirt on a Tuesday for no reason. I have a funny little story. So, when I first met my husband, every time I walked past him, he would slap me on my butt and pow, right? And as much as I thought it was an affectionate gesture and I loved it, my husband is a bricklayer, and it felt like I was being beat with a leather strap. It was so painful, I couldn't sit down. And he said, you kind of wince sometimes when I do that. You don't like it? I'm like, I absolutely loved it, but you need to do it softer. Let me show you.
Ease up a little.
Yes. So when I showed him how to do it now, it's just a wonderful thing. And it's something that he has continued over the time frame that we've been together for 20 years.
Hmm.
Married 18 in this coming December. So,
Awesome.
so, so when I think about all of the times that I have seen this desire outside of the bedroom, this is what it looks like. We were coming out of the store um over the weekend, and it may or may not have been a liquor store. I don't know. I just can't recall that part. But as soon as we're about to walk across where cars can come into the parking lot, my husband grabs my hand. He generally does that. Even we're not crossing the street. He just holds my hand. So this older fellow walked past and he was like, I love to see that. I love to see that y'all holding hands. And then I said, yeah, and after all these years. And so my husband looks at him and is like, help. Help. I said, I know you are not mouthing the word help because you are, in the best place to be. So just
Okay.
doing that type of intentional small acts of affection. I'm not saying you got to be PDA, you got to be out there slobbing each other's down face wet.
Mm-hmm.
You're not proving anything to
Mm-hmm.
anyone else. You are showing your partner how much you value them and this is your precious item, so you're holding on to it. This is your
Absolutely.
precious love, so you're holding on to it. So that's the initial part of it. And then we need to stop expecting our mates to be mind readers.
That's
They're
it.
not.
Hold on. Then can I jump in here before you go there? Because
Absolutely.
that's a good one. Have you found that some people just expect that after they've been together for a while, you just don't have to do all of that? It's like, okay, that was when we were
Absolutely.
dating. I remember
Yeah.
my ex-husband even expecting that at one point in our marriage, we would have separate bedrooms. And I was just like,
Hmm.
what? Because that's what he had seen, right? Growing up
Yeah.
older, I was like, ain't no Archie Bunker and Edith in here, the Dick Van Dyke Show. I'm not getting over another. We're not doing twin beds. And he was like, well, we're not trying to procreate. So what's the point? I snore. I need space. Don't you need space? I was just floored. And so he was not the last person I've heard say that people just expect that
Hmm.
after so many years, and especially after so many kids, all that touching and feeling and chasing and stuff, that was kid stuff. You just don't do that. So I'm glad that you're saying it should continue. Why wouldn't it
Right.
continue? Especially if you
Absolutely.
chose right in the first place. And I think that's a big if. That's a big
Yeah.
yeah. But have you heard any of your clients say anything like that? That's just kind of how it goes and they've accepted it.
Well, over the course of the years that I have been a couples therapist, the emphasis has more so been on their communication because
Hmm.
I have spoke with couples that were closer to my age and
Hmm.
not so maybe a few that were extremely young.
Hmm.
So it was like the whole spectrum.
Hmm.
But what I really found is um gender wise sometimes our expectations differ.
Say more about that.
Okay. So we have a certain time where we reach our quote unquote sexual peak, and this is evidence-based studies, similar to men. So men may have more vigor or whatever, or be more um interested in having more relations and things together when they are younger. But when I hit 40, baby, bye. It was, and since I, would like to follow, you know, certain trends in my family, my husband is 11 years younger than me. So we're the original cougars, just the original. Okay. And I found that my sex drive differed when I first met my husband. It was crazy because we're talking someone who is 11 years younger than me. So he's about to hit that groove, just making 30, right? So the reality is this. Um, 4 to 5 times a day was a little too much for me, but I hung with it. And some people may say, what? Why would you do that if that's too much? Okay. I expressed how much was a comfortable amount of sex for me. And I gave him a time frame to make that adjustment. So what I mean, if it was going to be 7 days a week, we were going to break it down to 3.5. Okay. But I gave him time to get ready to understand what that transition would look like. Because what I always want to do, if it's my husband, aside from him asking me to let other people join us, I'm going to do what I need to do. And that's whatever he likes to do. And
All
he's
right,
going to do whatever I like to do, right?
there it is.
So it's no sleeping in separate beds. That's ridiculous.
Did you talk about that before you got married, though? That was your expectation that you all were there to do the
No, I
sexual
didn't, because he
experience.
jumped out of bag once we got married. Because before it
What?
was, it wasn't that, crazy, crazy. But then once we got married, I was like, I called my mother one day. I said, Mama, I don't think I can do this. It's too much. And she's like, well, she's real dainty. Well, why don't you tell him you have your cycle?
Uh,
I said, tried it. He doesn't care.
you
He
said,
doesn't
how long
care.
is your cycle gonna last?
Right. No, he doesn't care. He's like, this is the first time I ever heard this term. He said, well, I run red lights.
Oh, wow. I never heard that one either. That's okay.
I said, you do. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
But the point is, we compromised and we came to understanding and an agreement that this is what it is.
mhm.
And we haven't really deviated from that.
Oh,
So, and as I get older and my body starts to change and I have back pain and all this other pain and everything, I'm willing to do other things.
other
Okay.
things.
Yeah, other
He said
things.
there's a menu of
There's
options.
a menu of options, especially when you really find out what your partner wants and
Mm-hmm.
what your partner needs.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to accommodate them when you can. So I'm one of those type of people that I'm not going to say I'm a people pleaser, but when it comes to my partner, I want to whatever he does, I want to reciprocate.
That's right.
Like my husband does my crochet. Okay. Now
Fabulous.
now again, desire outside the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't do hair. Okay. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said,
Mm-hmm.
he's a
A
bricklayer. He's
bricklayer,
a
which
general contractor.
you
Exactly.
wouldn't normally put those two things together, right? But
Right.
he's an above average human.
Exactly. But I like that above average human.
Mhm.
So one day I was sewing in my weave and he
Mhm.
was like, baby, can I tell you something? And I said, of course. I looked at him and he was like, that's crooked. In the back, you got it sewn up this way, and then on the side it's sewn down here. And he said, let me help you. I was like, oh my God, how's he gonna help me? So he went and watched a YouTube video for 2 hours, took the entire weave out. He doesn't braid hair now. I braid my own hair. Sewed it in perfectly.
Wow. But that's working with his hands, right? So that's an
Yes,
intelligence. That is one of the
absolutely.
intelligences. So for him to be able to say recreate what he can't
Yeah,
be, right?
yeah.
That's
So we
understanding
connect
and
on we
agreeing.
connect on that level. We connect on a level that kind of transcends what the traditional relationship may look like.
Hmm.
Because I know some people like you do your woman's hair. Yeah.
Hmm.
But we also don't lose our playfulness. One of the things that we like to do with each other. So, um, we may decide
One
that
of the things. One of the things.
one of the things, yeah, we may decide that so let's let's role play. You're in a strip club and and I'm gonna dance for you and everything. And I got on my little Temu or Sheen 90. Don't sleep on them because they are really nice. And they
Okay,
have my size. That's the point.
there
They
you
have
go.
my size and they're really
It's
cute.
not where
I
you get
love
it, it's
them.
how you wear it.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, oh,
Okay. So I
okay.
call myself putting it on and we had a few little cocktails and I'm dancing and I'm sliding down the door and then I hold on to both of the knobs and I'm swinging back and forth,
All right
swinging.
now.
Right. And then he looked at me, he said, "You can't get up, can you?" I was like, "No." I
You
was
was
trying to
like,
slide
help.
my leg out and still look sexy, trying to slide it backwards. But the 4-inch heel kept me from moving my foot as far as I
We'll
could. I
let you
was
be
like,
great.
would let me be great. But we laugh about that to this day,
Hmm.
and that had to be over 10 years ago.
Wow.
So just, life gets serious. Marriage doesn't have to. Dance in the kitchen, send a silly text, laugh. Inside jokes become emotional glue. So
Yes. Yes.
just
That's
understanding.
intimacy, right?
Yeah.
Things that we know that nobody else knows
Yes.
about each other.
It's
About
it's it's amazing how we can keep that spark going and you don't even have to really spend a lot of money,
hmm
create these elaborate trips out of town. I
hmm
remember even before my garage was built, my husband set up a table outside, a real tall like bar table with bars
hmm
and candles and here's the alley, right? Because I
hmm
said, I don't have a garage. And then here is this table and it was so beautiful still. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Aside from maybe a stray raccoon maybe walking past or something. I don't know. But it's like I was able to block out the background because of
hmm
what was happening right before me.
hmm
So sometimes you have to block out the background. I always
Yeah.
say this is Team Tillman. Whoever outside there looking in has no place to give us advice or anything else because I'm not asking you, so don't tell me what to do.
Secure
So
the perimeter.
right. So and with that, having that table outside, it just brings me to the next point of
Mhm.
keep dating each other.
Yes.
What you don't want to do is you was like, hey, let's go catch a movie. And before when he or she used to meet up with you or pick you up for a movie, you will have on some cute jeans, a sexy shirt, or you may have on something. Now, are you coming with your SpongeBob pajama pants on and some Crocs? And you got a bonnet
Which
on your head?
bonnet? Which bonnet?
And you got a bonnet on your head going to the movies and you're gonna eat pop. You're not in your living room. You out on a date with your husband. You out on a date with your wife. Don't go out like that.
Even
You
if
you
you're in
say
the house, even
even
if
if
you're
you're in
in
the
the house.
house,
My
right?
mother has said that 61 years, 61
Yes,
years they've been married. She said she never let my father see her down more than 2 days. And she said she tried
absolutely.
to keep it to one day. She's like, so even sick. She's like, that second day, she let me go in here and try to fluff and smooth and all of this because he's still a visual human being. He still wants
Yeah,
to see his girl. And some people are like, well, you should be able to accept me the way I am. You need to deal in reality.
you are
You
absolutely
you need
right.
to deal in reality.
You
Nobody,
do.
nobody wants somebody that don't nobody else want.
Come on with it. Come on. Yeah.
Keep playing if you want to.
Yeah, and for me, I'm glad that you said that your mom told you that because my mom gave me a version that was reinforced my sophomore year of high school in
Mm.
choir because we sang this song by Dionne Warwick, and I don't think she was the first one who actually sang it, but it's called Wives and Lovers.
Yes, I
And
saw you put the lyrics up last week. I
absolutely,
thought I was the only
absolutely.
person that knew about that song, and I
I
talk about
love
it.
it.
Talk about it.
Absolutely. Um, it says day after day, there are girls at the office and men will always be men. So don't
Mhm.
send him off with your hair still in curlers because you may
Mhm.
not see him again. That stuck out to me. When
Yep.
my husband comes home, I mean, sometimes I accidentally like, who's home? Who's home? Dad's home, just to be stupid, right?
Mhm.
But I'm
It's silly. It's
enthusiastic.
playful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said, did you just do a cheer? I said, I did. So it's about me showing him that I'm happy that you're home, that
Yes.
this is your sanctuary, this is your comfort zone,
Yes.
and this is where I want to make you feel like you're loved and respected
Yes.
and wanted and needed in this environment. So I'm happy when he comes home. We kiss each other goodbye.
Yes.
So with the song and with the philosophy that your mother um instilled in you, yes, you try to look flawless at all times. Now, I remember an episode when Whitley did not want Dwayne to know that how she looked, so she would get up 10 minutes early and brush her teeth and take her eye mask off and fluff her hair up and put on lipstick. And he was like, how's your breath so fresh and you just waking up?
Oh, I
And
just
she,
woke up like
I
that.
just woke up like this. Yeah. So it's some truth to that. You
Mhm.
have to be a wife and a lover.
Yes.
You
It's an
can't.
effort. It's about effort. And you hear a lot
Yeah.
of women complaining about that with men. These men don't put forth any effort. You talk a lot about reciprocity, and it speaks there too. So for the brothers, I know we got at least one in there. It's the same thing for you, right?
Yeah.
Keep it spiffy. You know, it shouldn't be the gray sweatpants all the time. We like the gray sweatpants. But like
We
you said,
do.
now we do. But like you
Mhm.
said, not all the time. And I've seen some couples battle with that. We're doing the date night, and then you show up like you're going to the laundromat. So
Right.
date night is for both folks. Get a shirt, some slacks every once in a while, or your nice dark jeans. You know, I went on a date a couple of months ago, and he's like, "Well, what do you want to say something about gym shoes?" And I was like, "Well, not where we're going. A nice loafer would be nice, I think." He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they kind of hurt." I was like, "Is this what we're doing at almost 60? You gotta dress for comfort. You can't put on something cute for a couple of hours." Needless to say, that was the first and last date. Okay.
Yeah. I
That's-
mean, you can't take a 600 milligram ibuprofen and put the shoe on.
I
Come
might would have
on.
rubbed I might would have rubbed your feet if things had gone well, but anywho,
See,
we'll
might have got the
car-
foot rub.
carry it
Might have got
on.
the foot rub.
When you talked
Yes.
about, let me say hello to a few people that came in. Hey, Bonnie, I believe that's one of your fan club. And hey,
Yeah.
Melissa class of 84.
Four.
Hey, class of
Yes.
84, 84. When you talked about not sharing, not oversharing, I think that sometimes people pull back, particularly women, pull back in the bedroom with different forms of intimacy because they talk too much to other women. And a
Yeah.
lot of times women are lying. Let me say
Yeah.
that. But people sit around talking about, girl, he wanted me to do this. And I was like, I ain't even on that. You watching too much TV, etc. And I'm here to tell
Mm-hmm.
you that some people who are saying what they're not doing, what they would never do, are
Yeah.
doing that and more.
Yeah.
And-
They are. They are. And I think that when you are in a romantic relationship or you're in a marital situation, um it's the time for exploration with each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, I don't want your thumb going anywhere. You know, I'm not gonna do
That's a
that
part
just
like that.
because,
It's a
yeah,
personal preference,
yeah,
right?
just because you saw that on something you was watching, no, I'll give you a thumbs up, but you're not gonna put the thumb up nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Not, no, no, no. So just being comfortable enough to say what you like and what you don't like. As you keep dating the person you're with, you spend these years trying to catch someone, trying to get their attention, and then you stop after you get married. You never supposed to stop pursuing your spouse.
Mm-mm,
You
mm-mm.
supposed to always pursue them. Like sometimes, you may have the man or the woman that has everything. So what I like to talk about, or what I like to do sometimes, is what is called a coochie coupon.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Look out.
Yes.
And what is
And
the coochie
you can,
coupon, Doc Sexy?
okay. I'm glad that you asked. Okay. So sometimes when you go to purchase something and they don't have it, they give you a rain check, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a little rain check that you are paying forward. So the coupon can say, yes, you'll get 20 minutes of oral sex, and it's going to expire like it's April 1st. So it's going to expire on the
And not
22nd of
April Fool
April.
because you don't want to play no tricks.
Well, I have
I know.
people in my family whose birthdays are on April 1st, namely my oldest sister, my big sis
Okay.
Rachel.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
she's
right.
April 1st. And so I say you have until the 22nd to use this coupon and
Mm-hmm.
really stick to what's on it. And when the 22nd roll around, don't be like, you know, what's the next coupon? No, you stick, right. You stick to that. And that's just a little cute, fun way of you guys being able to, you know, keep the spice in your life, keep everything going, and having this connection that always evolves into something else. Or perhaps maybe you decide to meet up at a bar that you never went to before, but you're
Mm-hmm.
only communicating via text messages. So you get to the bar and you sit on opposite ends and you summon the bartender over and say, "Can you tell me what that young man is drinking?" I already know what he's drinking. He drinking I already know what he's drinking,
He
but
might switch up on
he
you.
might switch up on me,
So
right?
yeah,
And
don't
try to
don't
go and try to
assume.
go for the top shelf so he could hurt my
There you
wallet.
go. Keep it
Yeah.
interesting. Exactly.
I would like that. I would
Exactly.
like him. I would like him to hurt my wallet. Anyway, so yeah, and then slowly make your way down there and just have a conversation with them, and just keeping that, you know, I'm saying it could be a plethora of things that you can do. You can
Hmm.
go old school and put a song list together on your phone, and
Yes.
then take a blanket and get a picnic basket from the Family Dollar, and then go out there and have some wines and some cheeses, and or listen to an audio book. There's a lot of things that you can
Yes.
do. And
Yes.
and the romance should not just be relegated to the people who are young or new. When I say young, I mean new in their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
this
Or
has
like
to
you
be
said, just in the
ongoing.
bedroom. I do want to ask you a question though, when you were talking about the coupons, this made me think of that. That I
Yes.
think that's a great way to introduce some new things, right? Into your
Yes.
relationship. And so that way with that timestamp on there, you're saying you might not be ready today, but let's give a window of time. So when you're ready, when you feeling
Yes.
froggy, you want to try it. So a way to introduce something, because sometimes, and it's both men and women. Like I said, I've experienced
Yeah.
relationships. It's like, where you get that from? Out of my mind, because my
Absolutely.
mind is always turning right. Don't play me cheap. So
Yeah.
that's a good way of introducing something else. Maybe putting on the coupon something that you've been wanting to try, and maybe your partner isn't ready yet. So you say, okay,
Yeah.
here's the rain check. Let's work on it. Let's see if we can get there. And now you can cash it in when you finally feel
Yeah.
brave enough to do it. Go easy on them the first time.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Yes.
I think that's an excellent way of inviting something new.
New
The
things, a
second question,
nuance.
but my question
Yeah.
is, when is the best time? Because I've read different things about this. When is the best time to have that conversation about your needs? If something isn't happening that you've been wanting to try, is it when you're in the bedroom, when you're in the midst of playing around intimately, or should it be during maybe an outside conversation outside of the bedroom, just a matter of fact? And I'm gonna talk about some other ways to keep the relationship together. So what's your thoughts? Is it in the bed or out of the bed? When are we having the conversation
I
about me?
say it's out of the bed
Okay.
because you don't want the other person to feel or put any association with this conversation with a sexual act. Because
Mm,
that, oh,
okay.
is she rejecting me? Did I not do well? So no,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think that's the most appropriate time. I like to tell some of my couples that they should have what is called a 15-minute debrief. And what that is as they sit across from each other. They may have an inanimate object that they hold on to so they won't overtalk each other. So when I'm finished making my point, I'll hand it to you. And you may talk about a myriad of things, what happened during the week, your future plans, but it happens in a way that you're calm, your feet are flat on the floor, you're sitting across from each other, maybe at the
Hmm.
dining room table or maybe at the kitchen table. You're having a nice warm cup of tea or something harder if that's your preference. Okay.
Libation,
But
libation.
libation. So, and then you kind of unpack your week and you
Mm.
say, you know what? Wow, I thoroughly enjoyed what you did to me the other night.
Her.
I was hoping that we could do this thing. And I wanted to wait now to tell you that because I didn't want you to think that I have a problem with anything that you're doing. I just want to add something new.
Okay.
Okay. So it may be something like, I want you to talk real nasty to me the next time we do it. Well, if you want an example, of course. Because if I want you to do it, I got to tell you what I want. I
Right.
want you to say, give me this pussy, girl. Yeah. I want you to just snatch it and take it from me. And while that may be harsh language for some, you can't be inhibited when it comes to your partner, when it comes to your husband, when it comes to your
Hmm.
wife. If you want to keep that spark going in your relationship, you can't shy away from some of the things that'll make others blush because, again, that's you and his conversation. You're
Hmm.
not going out to your boys and y'all playing basketball or whatever y'all doing, golfing or whatever. And you're like, man, last night she told me to tell her to give me an effort.
You
No.
do not have to report back to the squad.
Right. This is Team Tillman over here. So I feel safe
That
telling my
part.
husband anything.
That
I
part.
feel safe expressing my desires.
And
So
there's something to discuss too, like you're saying, because we can, even during these debriefs, that can sound really great. And
yes,
then we say, okay, next time we're together, all right, let's get it. And you should be able to say, you know what? No, I'm not quite feeling it. Or
right.
I'll let you know at some point when I've had enough. Like you were talking about the booty smacks earlier, right? Let's talk about
Yeah,
how to tweak it, but being gentle, right? Because it takes some courage to try new things.
it
Nobody wants to
does.
feel rejected. But so safety though is important to even feel like you want to try it. So like you said
Yeah,
earlier, that's all outside the bedroom as well.
absolutely. So the next point is emotional safety is sexy. People want to feel accepted when your spouse knows they can be vulnerable without being criticized.
Yes,
Intimacy naturally grows. It naturally grows.
that's right.
You know, I have a lot of people that have talked to me about some of the things that came out as a result of them expressing a different type of intimacy, and
Mm-hmm.
it came out as kinky. It came out as
Mm-hmm.
fetish. It
Mm-hmm.
came out as deviant.
Mm.
So when you run into a situation like that, I think it's important for you to, first of all, understand that your partner's view should be important to you.
Mm-hmm.
So even though this is something that you may want, maybe you can dial it down a bit. Now, if it's an absolute deal breaker for them, like I said, you're not sticking nothing nowhere that it ain't supposed to be originally. Okay. All right. Some places are exits only. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Read
You
between
know, so
the
stay away
lines.
from the exit. Stay away
Read
from the
between the
exit.
lines.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's like me, and it's funny. Wait, we got another class 84 in the house. I got a shout out. It's Larnell Dickerson in the chat.
Oh, hey, my brother Larnell,
He
how
said,
are
dirty talk. You
you?
talk about dirty talk. Hell yeah. No. And then somebody
Someone
said,
else.
capture the court. That's true. Intimacy naturally grows. Good evening. Good evening. And so, like,
Yes.
for me, this is one that I think is common for a lot of people. And I'm like, that's not me. Daddy. I'm not calling nobody daddy.
Well, I called
I'm,
Desmond Daddy.
I'm just saying, I can't do it because I'm like, daddy, I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm not trying to see Stanley in my, in my
We're not,
peripheral.
we're not talking about Walter Eccles,
I
Daddy.
do. But see, when I hear that, that's and so I was like, it's like, really, you ain't gonna call me daddy? Never. Okay, you ain't got to worry about me. I call you some other things, but daddy ain't one of them. So, like you said, conversation is important. When people like they call me, first of all, don't be telling me what to call you either.
Hmm.
Let me be in the moment, But now you start doing
Absolutely.
too much. There's the directing, which I like, and then there's being bossy.
Right.
It's a thin line. But again, I'm not the expert. Let me
Yeah, and what you make an interesting point because it is important for you to be addressed by your correct moniker, okay? What
Mhm.
you want to be called. Because while I do the daddy thing with my husband, most of the time it's kind of playful and I'm being silly, but I call him husband all day. Anybody that knows
You
me and him
know,
know that dad is they don't even know Desmond's name. They like
they don't
husband.
need to know his name.
They
That's
like
like
husband.
husband,
And he'll
husband.
turn around because yeah, that's his name, husband. Yes.
I
And
love
I did
that.
a little research.
Uh-huh.
The origin of the name Tillman, which is our last name, of course,
Mhm.
is husbandman.
See
That's
there?
what it's
Look at
called.
that.
A husbandman. And that's
Wow.
someone who is a planter, a grower, someone who works with his hands. That's the origin of the name
See?
Tillman.
Look at that.
So
So
he
perfect.
so he has a perfect name. Husband.
Hey,
Yeah.
right. So you say
Yeah.
say double
Double it
up.
up. Double it up. So
Absolutely.
one of the last points that I want to make and emphasize
Okay.
is that spice doesn't always mean sex. Spice
Hmm.
means curiosity, adventure,
Okay. Okay.
trying something new,
Hmm.
traveling, learning together, praying together, working on your goals together. Novelty keeps relationships alive.
Absolutely.
The newness,
The water.
keep it new. The water, keep it
Uh-huh.
new. Yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So I want you to be encouraged to always be the person that showed up. Don't
Hmm.
say, "Oh, well, that was my representative. Now this is who I really am." Because those type of bait and switches are not sustainable.
Yes. Yes. That's
Now we
cruel. That's actually cruel.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
unethical.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. And then over time, as you get to know the person and their quirks and their subtle nuances and everything else that encompasses this person as a human, it's important, just like you evaluate your goals periodically. You
Yes.
evaluate your relationship. You're like, am I still showing up as the same person that he met? Do I still make sure that I look vivacious and as beautiful as I can look in my husband's eyes? I don't care about what everybody else think about me.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
am I continuing to show the amount of attention to him that I did in the beginning? So you have to evaluate those points
Yes.
because, like, coming up on 18 years
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, that's a long time. And no relationship, marriage, or anything else is ever going to be perfect. But you have to be willing to compromise and work on the things that you identified as a problem. And sex should never be a problem.
Her. It shouldn't
Never.
be. But those debriefs are important.
Yes.
How often do you recommend those debriefs take place? On a weekly basis, monthly basis?
Yeah. Weekly. I say it should, particularly if you are having a communication issue that you want to work through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may not have enough time in your busy schedule to say, oh, well, I can meet every week, but it should be as often as possible, especially if there was something that was pressing that you wanted to put a pin in because you didn't want it to
Mm-hmm.
escalate,
That
and
part.
and just discuss it and during that time frame. And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, 15 minutes may be enough for
Mm-hmm.
you to have a resolution. So
Mm-hmm.
prioritize the peace in your dojo. Just
Oh,
prioritize that.
I love that.
Yeah, prioritize that.
Prioritize the peace in your dojo. And like I said, it doesn't take long. And I like making a sandwich when you do the debriefs. Start off with something really positive. I love how you did
Yes,
this. Tuesday when you did that, and
absolutely.
again, inside or outside of the bedroom. But baby, when this happened, I'm wondering if you could or could we do this and then end with something that you want to happen this week. So a real nice sandwich, positive,
Absolutely.
burn, and with a
I love
positive.
that. I love the sandwich method. It's helpful in the sense that, and it's not that you're just trying to blow smoke up somebody, but
Oh,
you are really
absolutely not.
trying to be intentional about giving them praise. And,
Absolutely. And specific praise.
yeah,
Specific.
we talk about acts of service, we talk about gratitude, we talk about all of that. But what I want people to know is marriage is a verb, love is a feeling, but marriage is a decision you make every single day. Some days it's
Mm.
butterflies, and some days it's choosing kindness when you're irritated.
Yes. Yes.
Choosing to be kind when you are irritated. And then you must keep your spouse curious. You still have to see my husband catching me try new hairstyles, dressing up or surprising him. It isn't about pretending to be somebody else. It's about never stopping the discovery process. You know,
Layers,
in a minute,
layers, layers.
you will see me on a Monday with an afro, some afro puffs, and Tuesday you will see me with a crochet.
I'm a
And
witness.
you see,
Now watch this. Now that's something my father shared with me
okay,
about my mother. He said she keeps me wondering. 61 years. I
yes,
think he told me that probably
yes,
around the 50s. I think when they were around their 50th anniversary, we had that talk. And he said, I just never know. Is what she's gonna cook, what she's gonna wear, what she's gonna say, what she prefers. And he's very old school, so he was not gonna be specific with me about that.
yeah,
But he told me, he said, that's what I see wrong with young women, or what I've noticed that I wish they would consider. Men should
yeah,
wonder. A man wants to wonder, he wants something to discover, spark his
right.
curiosity. 61 years of that. He said, I still don't know what that girl may do or say on any given day. And I love it.
And you know
And
what
I
I love
love
about you is that you are so intuitive because my next point was keep your spouse curious.
it. Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things that when you find all of the components and everything that make your marriage work, keep doing them. Appreciation is an aphrodisiac. People bloom when they are appreciated.
Yeah.
We spend too much time pointing out what our spouse did wrong, and not enough time noticing what they did right.
Yes.
And so you must always protect your relationship routine. Routines pay the bills, but
Yes.
novelty feeds the connection. And
Oh, wait a minute. Go back. Rewind the tape. Say that again. Slower this time.
okay, routine pays the bills,
Uh-huh.
but novelty feeds connection.
That's a gem. That's a word. Somebody need to type that in the chat. That's good stuff.
Yes, indeed.
Good
It doesn't
stuff.
have to cost money. Take
Yeah,
a different route home, cook together, have a coffee on the porch, ask a question you never asked before.
that part.
Yeah,
That part.
so
Things that you would do
um
with friends. Here's what I noticed. That people will extend grace
yeah,
and use creativity with friends and coworkers more than they will with the spouse, like you were just talking about kindness. You don't say
Yeah.
everything you think to the people that you work with, but we'll do it with the people we live with. No
Yeah.
filter at all. No filter. And the same thing with friends. I see people planning girls' trips and guy nights or whatever.
Yeah.
Use that same energy with the person you signed up for, and it reaps dividends.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I I know that by the time that I'm maybe slowing down on my ambulatory efforts, meaning,
I am not playing with you, Doc.
hey, I already got the Arthur T. Reedus in my left knee. Arthur
Not
T.
Arthur.
Reedus.
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
not Arthur T. Reedus. Yeah, right here in my left knee. But by the time I am ready for retirement home, assisted living, living in a, getting around in a wheelchair and everything, I had that conversation with my husband the other day. And I said, just, really screen the place that you gonna put me in. And kind of, he kind of stopped his van and he looked at me and he said, I'm gonna take care of you for the rest of my life.
All right now.
So, you have to have someone who feels and believes that, who wants to be there for you no
Yeah.
matter what as you grow old together. But you may not be able to stop aging, but you can slow it down.
There you
So
go. So I
stay
may not be,
energized in the
yeah, I may
bedroom.
not be
Stay
able to,
energized. Stay
that's
in.
it.
Keep them leopard print sheets on the bed.
Not the leopard print sheets. I may not be able to do what I used to do, but I can do something.
I can do something.
Or like I tell people, you may not be able to do it how you used to do it. You might have to
See?
do it a little differently. And that goes back to the creativity. So I'm gonna bring all our points in there. We gonna say goodnight. Maybe to give people a little time to maybe go practice some of the things we talked about. But we talked first, why do marriages go cold? A lot of times it's just what word on the street is. Like that's what it's supposed to be. And we say absolutely not.
Hmm.
Sometimes, and we didn't touch on this, sometimes there's unresolved resentment. A lot of times with women, they'll be holding on to things, don't want to talk about it, and you're wondering why the husband, why you don't want me to touch you? I'm really mad about something else, but I'm gonna take it out for you there. That's a no-no. Accumulated stress. Sometimes folks just don't have the energy. Everybody get on this roller coaster called life, and life be life, and you better put the brakes on. And I had that talk with somebody today. I was like, don't let you. I said, because I'm telling you, all gonna know the difference as soon as Dr. Kim got her mister. Oh, yes. I'll be going bye-bye a lot earlier. But even before that, practicing how to balance that stress. So there is room for play. So there is room for wanting to be fun. There is room even for these debriefs. And the last one, Doc talked a lot about this, the loss of the daily connection, where again, everything else is a priority other than, again, the person that you signed up to do life with. So making sure that you're being intentional about
Right.
connecting. How are we connecting? Maybe it is busy days. We have so much technology that helps us to stay in touch. Nice little juicy text here and there. I'm gonna tell you something that's sexy that's not really sexy is when I have a man who remembers my schedule because my schedule is insane. So when I have somebody say, "Baby, how's that assessment meeting going? You remembered that I was doing assessment today?" I feel a little moist. Okay. Anyway, so the daily connection, find a way, that text, that FaceTime, that note
Hmm.
in the car, the filling up the car. I'm telling you, I can't wait. Somebody just wash my car, put some gas in it. What it's on full. I don't have to go to my word. I think I need to give you something when I arrive back to the house. So that loss of daily connection. So we want to avoid those things. But first, we might
Yeah.
need to call a truce. Some people are like, how to get started? You might need to be the bigger person to say, hey, we got to talk about this. We got a desert going on in here. And I remember how good things used to be when we first got together. I want that back.
Right.
And that first conversation may be all it takes, but it might take you calling my good friend here or a therapist of your choice to help push
Yes.
you in that direction. If we can go get our heart checked and we can go get our eyes checked, we can go get our mind checked. We need to start thinking about therapy
Maybe
just
all it
like we
takes, but
think
it
about
might take
going
you
to get
calling
our
my
teeth and everything else, right? So therapy works. It's Jesus and therapy.
Yes,
Okay. So calling a therapist,
absolutely.
go get you some help. Doing those weekly or monthly check-ins. Again, being intentional. Let's just take out some time to talk about us. What's good
Yes,
about us so we can do more of it? What's yucky about us so we can eliminate that? And now let's plan some more good about us as we move forward. I had one relationship where we did that every Sunday. When I tell you, I have to have that moving forward. That check-in was amazing. It did everything.
absolutely.
And then last, what I love about Doc Sexty, she gave you all a bunch. You need to do replay, replay, replay. She gave you 1,000 examples of how to be creative. Think outside the box. Don't be scared. As long as it doesn't hurt animals, little children, and the elders, do it. And it
Absolutely.
doesn't hurt your partner. Like we're saying, be really being in tune with them,
Yeah,
um taking your time, but not being afraid to say this is what I want from you, not just want in general. This is what I want from you. And so much space and so many opportunities to get closer in and out. Anything you want to add to that before I have them tell you again where they can find you and we log off so they can go get
do
spicy?
that thing.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I really want you guys to know that every day that you wake up next to the person that you love, you can win.
Yes.
So always understand that you should be motivated by acts of service that show gratitude.
Yes. Yes.
And I can be found if you are looking for a beautiful place to have help with any of life's challenges. The name of the private practice, which is Black owned and is owned by this beautiful, wonderful woman named Shantae Woods. And it's Phoenix Rising Counseling and Guidance. And if you just put that in a Google search engine, you will be immediately taken to the website where you can read the bios of all the very competent, wonderful, loving, caring staff, counselors and therapists and psychologists that could help you to reach the goals that you set for yourself. So I'm happy to be there. As you all know, something else, kind of happened to me last Friday, but it was a good move by the universe.
There you go.
So, yes, I could be found at Phoenix Rising.
Okay, I'll put it in the
Yeah.
chat. Phoenix Rising Counseling and Guidance. That's Dr. Heather Ferguson Tillman. Waiting on your
Yes.
call, your text, your reach out. And of
Yeah.
course, you can find me on Facebook on the couch with Dr. Kim. You can also find me on Instagram by that same handle. And I would love to do some life coaching with you, relationship coaching. If it gets heavy, I send you the doc's way. So I don't overplay my hand, but sometimes it's a great conversation to get you started on your way. We will be here in 2 weeks. I'm still on the every other week schedule. So when we come back in 2 weeks, Adrienne Jackson from Atlanta will be here and she's got some homework for the men. She's talking
Yes.
to the 40 crowd, things that we
Okay.
really need from you, brothers. She's going to break it down. She feels like there's a lot of homework given to the women on how to please the men. And I think, you know where I sit in the middle of it all. I think we all need some tips or reminders here and there. So I want to thank
Yes.
everybody in the chat. We got Liz, we got Bonnie, we got Captured in Court, Larnell, Kendra, Melissa. With everybody came out. Dr. Vicky Lee, who's also a doctor of education. I'm excited about that. Not too many people want to share that. And then Lisa, the teacher. Wow, the chat was full tonight. Great energy there. And so, Doc Sexy, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight. We must do this
Yes,
again. We must do this
absolutely.
again. So thank you all for your time and attention, and keep it spicy. See you in 2 weeks. Good night.